Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Casper Network, aka just Casper. And honestly, the main reason why I want to discuss Casper currently is not just because I'm very bullish on it. As you guys are probably all aware at this point, I really want to talk to you guys about it because we are seeing things unfold within the layer 1 scene that I believe is getting very, very exciting. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate it. But with that in mind, let's just jump in and let's talk about, first off, the market sentiment. So right now, yeah, Bitcoin is a little bit bearish. I've been talking to you guys about, Bitcoin, what I expect for this market in the short-term span of things. Yes, I do think that there are going to be better buying opportunities on a lot of assets, including even Casper. So I've been watching the alts very closely. I've been watching dominance very closely. We can pretty much see where we went down to in terms of the low spans down here at about like 11 and almost a half cents. The significance about, Casper currently is not only are we holding a very strong line, which is around the 702, the 10 and almost a half centile range. I honestly don't see this breaking, but if we do break that point, I'm going to be fairly concerned at that point because that means that we will test some lower, points. But I think it's actually not going to be that bad in general. I think it's going to provide us with a really good buying opportunity. If anything, we come down to the 786. But the best part about this is that it's been holding up very, very strong, even opposed to where other altcoins are and how their percentages in terms of their drops have been. Casper has been very strong, but we know that Casper has been a very strong altcoin. Downside is fairly limited on Casper. I think that that's the main point to really kind of make here. But also, on the Bitcoin pair, we are holding up fairly strong, still have that nice strong impulse that started back in the new year, as you guys do see here. I'm waiting for this to actually flip into the bullish point. I think that will happen by around the end of this month into February. That's where I'm really kind of watching a lot of my altcoin holdings. That's where I'm actually watching a lot of this entire market in general, because I also believe that Bitcoin around that point will also be fairly bullish. I showed you guys my overall perspective on this. I think that we're kind of doing the similar moves that we did back in the summertime. Now, of course, I do not like to rely on bars graphs too much, but this is pretty much what I foresee happening. Something similar to this. Of course, it doesn't have to do this exact same move, but we can pretty much see where we currently are, kind of just trading sideways. Of course, yes, downside is still not limited on Bitcoin. We can come down and retest the 786 point. That would pretty much kind of break throughout this entire, bars graph. But I'm not going to be focused too much on the bars graph pattern in general. I just think that we could do something similar to this. And if we do, then we're watching Bitcoin dominance kind of do the similar move that it did back in the summer as well, something like this, where we do have these nice impulses all the way up. I'm more so foreseeing about 46%, but this is actually very bullish for us even long term, and I know a lot of people are going to probably be like, what do you mean this is very bullish? Isn't this bearish? Yeah, I mean, if we're talking more so about Bitcoin dominance kind of, spiking to the upside, it is bearish on a lot of altcoins, but it's bullish long term for our altcoin holdings, because not only does it give us a buying opportunity or a better buying opportunity than we do see in the market currently, but it also provides, Bitcoin dominance, the idea on crashing while Bitcoin is kind of pumping still, which will pump a lot of these altcoins a lot higher. Now, I do want you guys to pay attention to the news and what is actually unfolding. We look back a little bit here, and we do see Ethereum Layer 1 not ready for direct mass adoption from Vitalik Buterin. I thought this was funny. We do see here he has stated that Ethereum is not ready for mass adoption in its current form. High gas fees on Ethereum Layer 1 make the network unsuitable for day-to-day transactions. Buterin also has, reiterated the need for a Layer 2 scaling solutions to reduce transaction fees. I think that this is comical to say the least. He is, talking more so about, they promise to cut transaction cost up by up to a factor of 200 through optimistic rollups and ZK rollups. I just think that this is funny because, everybody's kind of focused on Ethereum. Everybody's fairly bullish on Ethereum. They think that Ethereum is going to be the future of finance, the future of this, the future of that. And it's really not. In my mind, I laugh about it. But the best part is that this actually causes some more attention to be, focused on layer 1 assets, layer 1 networks in general, right? And this is where I think, Casper really shines. We know Casper is built for Web3. We know it's a developer, extremely developer-friendly network, as well as the enterprise-grade network for a lot of, options. But in general, when we're talking about layer 1s being, put into the spotlight, we look here. First mover Asia. Bitcoin stabilizes near 43K as layer 1 tokens attract attention. This goes back yesterday. Okay, when we're talking about layer 1s, a lot of the layer 1s that we see on a day-to-day basis are already pumped up. They're focusing on a lot of these other networks. In fact, I actually have this article here. This goes back January 1st. Of course, you could say that this is an opinion. You could say this is whatever, but we do see here the best layer 1 blockchain projects to buy at the start of the year. This is what's being pushed. Matic, which is already up significantly. Actually, in general, let's duplicate this tab real quick and let's actually look at some of these other assets that are already up significantly. So, Matic. Okay, I talked to you guys about Matic a very, very long time ago. In fact, it was one of my main holdings. Look at this chart. I mean, you're pretty much buying the top up here on Matic. And they're saying that this is one of the best. Okay? Ethereum, which is laughable because we see the CEO himself, or one of, the main, co-founders, I should say, saying himself that it's pretty much unusable and not, ready for mass adoption. And then Solana as well. All right, let's look at Solana real quick. So in terms of Solana, here's what you're buying. Again, you're essentially buying the top. Now, I always like to look at these and kind of compare them to one another. And Ghost Staking actually did a really good article on comparing Solana to Casper. And I believe that Casper has a very good future in this space. If we're comparing, Casper just to Matic alone. So here's our upside potential for Polygon's market cap currently. We'd be at $4.50, aka 37x. Yeah, look at Solana's. I mean, this is 124x at $14.59. I do think that we get there. In fact, on Casper, I think that we get to much higher price, valuation targets in the long term. In the short term, I'm more so dead set on $4 to $7. I still think $4 to $7 is fairly conservative, and I do think that we get there. Why? Well, look at what Ethereum's focused on. They're focused on scaling and transaction fees, essentially, revolutionizing the network. Look at Casper. So this is from Casper Labs themselves. This was the original overall. I would say this is pretty much what made me buy Casper. Is this article here? The Casper Network and Ethereum 2.0. Answering our community's question, what does Ethereum 2.0 mean for Casper? Now, we know Ethereum 2.0 has been delayed. But look at this, right? With the recent launch of the Ethereum 2.0 beacon chain, several people have asked questions about the ramifications for Casper and what we're building. What we are developing is not Ethereum 2.0, but Ethereum 3.0. They confirmed it themselves. As of now, Ethereum 3.0 does not have a roadmap or ship date, leaving us with just Ethereum 2.0 to evaluate. Now, the main thing that I like about Casper is that they're really, focused on making one of the best layer 1s. If you used Casper to send a payment, the fees are almost non-existent. They are so low. The best part about all of this is that Ethereum 2.0 does not implement full CBC Casper. It only includes Casper FFG, which blends the liveness properties of proof of work with the safety properties of CBC Casper. Blocks will continue to be added to the beacon chain using POW. They will be finalized using Casper FFG. Approximately 2% of all blocks will be finalized using Casper FFG. Now, the importance of all of this is to understand the potential behind Casper itself. Okay? I've always said when we're talking about Casper and, how Ethereum 3.0 is already here before Ethereum 2.0 is already, out. Yeah, that's because Casper is here. Okay, we see here. when we examine the capabilities available on the Casper network, it is more accurate to compare Casper to Ethereum 3.0. We are leapfrogging right over Ethereum 2.0 and going straight to the Ethereum 3.0 core feature set. We could do this because we are a new protocol, and we don't have to concern ourselves with contract compatibility as Ethereum must. With billions of dollars locked up on Ethereum, it is responsible for the Ethereum community to be judicious. This is seen all the time in technology. It's called the innovator's dilemma. Incumbents, can be disrupted from underneath by startups. This is possible because startups can move more quickly, have fewer clients, and make decisions more rapidly. That is why Casper, in general, is definitely going to, in my opinion, prosper well beyond a lot of these other layer ones, but also reinvent the wheel, for Ethereum in general. And we do see here, it's quite different from Ethereum. Casper provides scalability and features that enable blockchain to become part of a larger application architecture where on-chain contracts can be managed and governed like any other software. Casper is going to be a huge giant. It's a sleeping giant currently. We know Web 3.0 is coming. We know Casper aims to bring deep technical knowledge of Web 2 to the Web 3 world. Big days are approaching for Casper. I do completely agree. When we're talking about developments, guess what? DevXDAO, which we know, decentralized autonomous organization, is doing incredible things in terms of getting grants to developers to build on the Casper network. And we actually see here's some of the new projects that are building on the Casper network January 11th. Tune into this if you guys do want to hear a lot more about this. In fact, I'll retweet it if you guys do want to easily find it. You can go to my Twitter, NCashOfficial, just NCashOfficial. Sorry, I was trying to say my website, but it's all good. Definitely check out this because this is something to stay tuned for, especially if you are a Casper holder. And in fact, if you guys are a Casper holder, I want you all to know that we just surpassed 60,000 holders. So the network is continuing to grow. A lot of individuals are, continuing to hold. We do see exchange traffic here. We see inflows. Check out the inflow, by the way. So we have been seeing some outflow recently. We've seen a lot of, individuals kind of selling a little bit. But look at the inflows skyrocketing. Accumulation is skyrocketing for Casper. You know why? It's because it's extremely cheap. The downside is extremely limited. And let's switch over to the dark, sort of span of this because I just like it better. You can really kind of see it here. Okay? I just think that we have a lot more growth left in Casper. You can check out the rich list and everything on this if you guys do want to. You could just pretty much look up the address here. You could pretty much, I could just show you real quick. So all you have to do is 1 second. I can get it for you guys. 1 second. Okay, here you guys have it. So here's the rich list. This is how much Casper is held by some of the top tier wallets. We actually see that this 2 billion here is actually being held. You can pretty much see who this is by just clicking and pretty much opening it in a new tab and pretty much looking into it. Similar to Etherscan, but a lot of this is pretty much locked up. These will be released eventually. I think that it has a lot more time to actually do that. But in general, you could see everyone that's holding Casper, how much individuals are holding, and it really kind of gives you an in-depth view on this. But I'm just excited to see how much massive inflows there are. The accumulation right now is absolutely ridiculous to say the least. The best part about all of this, though, is that we are going to be seeing a lot more listings as well. We're talking about a Binance listing. Binance is talking about Web3. They're all over it. In fact, they're really, introducing everybody to the Web3 scene. They're talking about it. What is the best option for Web3? In my opinion, the best layer 1 for Web3 currently, would have to be between a few of my main picks. But Casper is definitely at the top tier list. Casper is a huge gem. And we know Binance has not listed them yet. We also look back a little bit going back to November 14th. Gemini preparing for a Casper listing in coming months. This is Gemini doing an article on Casper. I'm just saying, I would not be surprised at all. So with all of that in mind, I hope that you all enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on. If you guys want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.